Rev up your engines!
Well, gimmicks have reached a new level. If you've seen any of these Carvana vending machines, there's a few of them in the country. They're sitting there, it's all glass, goes way up in the air, and they're full of cars. You can actually buy a car that'll give you this big silver coin, and when you're done, you put it into the vending machine, it picks your car out and brings it to you. I'm not making this up. People actually buying cars in vending machines. Yes, it's a gimmick. You're going to pay high dollar. Do a little research. You'll find that places like Carvana, they charge way higher than average prices that people will charge for used vehicles. Plus, you're buying a used vehicle in a vending machine. Come on now. You want a mechanic like me to check it out before you buy. They all have these deals where, oh, well, they have a guarantee. If you take it to a mechanic, he can check it out and tell you. But hey, you've already paid them some money. You're going to have to get a refund. A lot of them have little fine print if you do return it back. And of course, they make it a gigantic hassle. This is a bad sign of the future. You should always be able to have a mechanic check out a car before you buy it. Not after, but before you buy the car. It's a big mistake to buy it, and then a place says, oh yeah, well, you can get it checked out, but you own it now, and then you're going to have to return it, and yada, yada, yada. Who knows what's going to happen in the interim? What if you got in a wreck? Well, too late then. It's yours now. Somebody hit you on the way back. It's better to have it checked out before you buy it. Once you buy it, it's in your hands. You're responsible for it. Car vending machines. It's really getting out of hand as far as I'm concerned. I didn't like buying food in a vending machine. How do you know how old it is, stale it is? Come on now, That reminds me of a friend of my father's years ago. They were out in some other city, and he says to my father, hey, John, why don't you come to me? I know a great place to eat. And he goes down, and he finds this room that's full of food vending machines. He says, this is great. You can get whatever you want. My father, who was a gourmet and ate in gourmet restaurants, that he thought that was good food coming out of those vending machines. Well, think about that the same way. If you're thinking about buying a car in a vending machine, having to eat stuff out of a vending machine, food, well, I wouldn't buy a car for one either if I were you. Just another crazy gimmick in our society. But your Tesla customers are complaining Tesla's getting water in them when they go through puddles or in the rain. Now, as I've always said myself, electricity and water don't go together, so they should build these things so they're really well sealed. Now, maybe this is where Volkswagen, which says they're really going to be competing against Tesla to be #1 electric cars, they might have an edge here, because look at the Germans. They made great U-boats, and they had to be sealed against water. They're going deep down. So maybe the Germans will be better at sealing things. Now people are saying that vehicles that are like a year old or just new ones, brand new ones, are getting water intruding in them, driving around. It takes a while to make really good quality stuff. And these are new things too. Imagine when these things are getting older, if they really start leaking and water gets on the electrical system. That's a real thing. You really need them sealed. If you have an electric car, gets wet and it intrudes on it, you're going to have problems. I personally see this all the time with the hybrid cars. As they age, water intrusion is a big problem. Many of the hybrids have been out there for more than 10 years. The Prius has been out there for like 22 now. All these electronic parts. And yes, they're sealed so the coolant, which is hot coolant, doesn't touch the electronic parts, but these seals do break and go bad. I've seen a lot of these hybrid cars as they age where inverters are ruined because of water intrusion, modules are shorted out because of water intrusion. This is a big problem that occurs as they age, and these Teslas aren't that old yet. Wait till they get to be older like the Priuses are and people start finding, there's water intrusion in my electric car. Things get a lot more complex as they age. And if this is happening with Teslas that are a year old, 2 years old, or brand new, it's saying something. What are they going to be like when they get to be 8, 10 years old? There's some serious problems on the horizon, if you ask me, with electricity and water intrusion. Katatabi 624 says, Scotty, what's your opinion on the former Dodge Stratus? Okay, well, you kind of explained it there yourself. The former. Those were actually one of the worst vehicles that Chrysler ever made. Now, they looked okay. It was a typical Chrysler product. fact that they look good. They were very good at making designs that looked good. You know, I mean, Lee Iacocca had a lot to do with that. He's the guy that, when he was with Ford, designed the Ford Mustang. They make things that look good, but unfortunately, with Chrysler, they didn't hold up all that well, especially if you had one of those V6 engines that were absolute piles of junk. Their automatic transmissions were horrible. I had customers with Stratuses, and they admitted, they said it was the worst car that they'd ever bought, and they would never buy another Chrysler product the rest of their life. And they finally decided, hey, they're not going to be making the things anymore. But the Stratuses, yeah, Former explains it all. They don't make them anymore. And there's a good reason they don't make them anymore. Because they were really horrible vehicles in the long run. You know, they look good. You buy a new one, you drive it, hope it lasts a while. But in the long run, they were horrible cars. Robert F1202 says, Scotty, I got a 2007 GMC Canyon. Problem is Best Buy installed a touchscreen radio, and now my heat doesn't work. Turn on it doesn't work. Take it back and show them. Hopefully it just happened, so they're not going to say, oh, that broke later. Any modern vehicle, there are so many wires and stuff inside there. They obviously messed up. If you came right away and the heat doesn't work anymore, all that stuff, even on an 07 Canyon, is electronically computer controlled. There are wires in there, sensors. There's so much stuff they could have screwed up when they pull that radio out and put a touchscreen radio in. It will make your head spin. Give them the benefit of the doubt and say, look, the heat doesn't work. Could you please take your radio out you put in and see if the unplugged wires and stuff, yada, yada. And if they do, honest mistake, they fix it great. If they can't figure it out, then you would say to them, you're going to have to pay for fixing it. I'm going to take it to the dealer, let them fix it, and you're going to pay for the bill. Obviously, they messed it up. Now, I'm hoping that this just occurred. Because, like, if they put it in and then you find out a month and a half later that he's not working and you wouldn't have a leg to stand on, you couldn't prove anything. But as soon as you got it back, learn how to do some of the stuff yourself if you want to put in aftermarket things. Because I had a customer once go to one of those places in a Ferrari. Yeah, you know, there's a real smart move. Take a Ferrari to those guys. They actually started a fire in the dash working on it. Luckily, the company was a big national company, and they had to fork out like $17,000. They shouldn't have messed with a car like that in the first place. They should have just said, look, we don't mess with Ferraris. We don't take the dashes apart. Rather than saying, oh, yeah, we can put that in there, and then, oof. You got to be leery who you let work on your car these days. Just having some young guys messing around with a dash when they don't even know what half those wires do, not a smart move. Josh G24 says, Scotty, I'm looking to buy new tires for my 2017 Camry. I'm stuck between Bridgestone or Firestone. In that case, I would take Bridgestone. And there's a hilarious story behind the name Bridgestone. It's a Japanese company, right? The guy's name translated from Japanese into English was Stone Bridge. And somebody said, well, that's kind of clunky, Stone Bridge. That's something they'd say in the 1600s or something. But Bridgestone, that sounds cooler. So they decided to call it Bridgestone, even though it was a Japanese company. If you get Bridgestone tires that are made in Japan, hey, they're pretty good. But as a little side irony here, I do believe that Bridgestone now owns Firestone. And that it's the same company. But if you can get the tires still made in Japan, they are the best. I had them on my wife's car, the Lexus, and they were made in Japan, and those things just ran and ran and ran, had no problems at all. And I was stupid, and I left them on for like 12 years, and they started to dry rot. But they still work perfectly fine. They had a lot of tread left on them, but I saw they were cracking a bunch, and I put new ones on. But 12 years is a long time to get out a set of tires without getting flats and blowouts or having any problems. So I would get the Bridgestones. Lobster Walsh says, Scotty, I got a 2011 Kia Rondo 2.4, 175,000 kilometers. The trunk is stuck and I can't get it open. The fuse is okay, but I just can't get it open. I tried the hidden latch, but it wouldn't release. The inside plastic panel might be removable, but I can't get it off. Okay. Well, that's what you're going to have to do. And I've done that many times, especially when I was younger. We would just take the back seats out and go in the back and get inside the trunk. There's always a way of getting them open from the inside. That's a 2011. And I believe back then they did have those child safety ones that if someone got into the trunk, there's always going to be a pull that you can pull to open the trunk. Now, if it doesn't have that, you get inside there. Yeah, there's going to be, they'll see a latch somehow. And just get a screwdriver and a big flashlight, pop the plastic off. If you can't figure it out, they all come on and off. And so what? It's just a plastic piece of junk anyways. If you got to force it and it cracks or breaks, you can always glue it back on. Then you can get it and open it up. and see why the thing isn't working with your electronic stuff. So I hate all that electronic crap. When it breaks, it's just nonsense. The old days, there was a key in a hole. You turn it in, you turn it to open the trunk. Pretty simple, reliable. They rarely ever broke. But this electronic stuff, yeah, you got to deal with it when it breaks if you keep them long enough. And it is a key. It's a Korean car, and they're notorious for electronic problems as they get to be 9 years old and have more mileage on them. I don't see that with Toyotas. I've never seen a Toyota that the trunk broke on, but on the Kias, see it all the time.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.